Peace, peace. This your boy Selah Shalom. And I'm here with my brethren Ahd Ben Yahudah. And we're going to touch on some health topics. You want to give me a question-answer Q&A on some health issues. So we're going to touch on that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it in. Steph, what you got for me?
Yes. All right, first question. We talking about the herbal tea that my brother has come up with. That he's healed people with many different ailments based off of this high alkaline tea. So we about to talk about that, talk about the different ailments that he's healed with this tea, and you know, different things like that. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of tea? What kind of tea is it what's in this tea that's healing people?
Word. The tea is native plants that come from the earth, natural plants that is created by the Creator. Now you have plants out there that's artificial, that's been crossbreed between two plants that normally wouldn't come together, and they'll put it back in nature, and then you have a hybridized plant in nature. So I'm making a distinction between native plants and artificial plants, because a lot of people think that just because it's a plant, they think it's natural. But we have reached a point in science where we can manipulate nature and graft things and put them back in nature as if it's originally was. So the first thing to understand is that the plants are native, they're natural plants. And anything that is naturally made, the Creator made it alkaline, alkaloids. So with that, some of the plants are yellow dock, which helps with your iron. Burdock, which helps with your iron. These are roots. And then you got blue vervain, that helps kill off parasites and worms. These are native plants. So those are just three of the plants that's in the tea that we put together.
Okay, good. All right. Now, as far as this tea, does this tea interfere with any medications if somebody's on medication?
Now, if they're on medication, what they would want to do is get off the medication, because the medication is already killing you, because the medication is a chemical-based drug. It's acidic in nature, and it's going to create cell erosion to the cell, which is going to deplete the cell from getting oxygen. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you want to get off the medication anyway. But to answer your question, yes, you do want to. You can mix the herbs with the medication. There is no effects. The only effect would be the herbs neutralizing the acidity of the medicine or the medication, you know. But the doctors would tell you don't mix it because they're not skilled in herbs. That's why they tell you, because they don't have the answer what the chemical effect would be. Which in return, it wouldn't be no chemical effect. It would be a neutralization of acid. Because I had plenty of people took herbs and they was on their medication or were taking simultaneously and nothing happened to them. They actually got better based off the herbs I was giving them, and it was just neutralizing the medication that was given to them.
Oh, that's great.
So, you know,
okay, so
you could take it. It's a choice on you.
So they neutralize some of the acidic effects of the medicine.
Exactly.
Okay.
They neutralize the acid.
That's a blessing. All right, no doubt. So with this particular tea, how often do you have to take the tea in order to eradicate specific diseases or ailments?
Right. Depending on the disease, will depend on the intake of herbs. So if you're dealing with somebody who got a common cold, they may not need as much herbs compared to somebody who's dealing with diabetes. You know, so you know it depends on the nature of your sickness that you're dealing with. But the herbs has no side effects, so you can take as much of it as you want, and you will only get you will notice you will be more energized, because a lot of the herbs is iron based, so you will have a lot of energy, and you will notice a lot of bowel movement too, because the herb is going to be breaking down all the mucus and all the waste in the body, from the bloodstream to the digestive system. It's all going to be broken down. You're going to be having urinate. You're going to be urinating more. You're going to be having more bowel movements. That's a sign that your body's cleansing itself.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Like, so for instance, if somebody had HIV or something like that, how long do you think it would take to actually eradicate the virus of HIV by taking this tea?
HIV is an immunodeficiency disease. It's a deficiency of iron in the lymphatic system, in the immune system, and then the skin. That's where the disease is found in dealing with HIV and AIDS. So if it's a blood disorder, it takes 90 days to 120 days for the blood to purify itself. So that's about 3 months. So you could give or take to say 3 months it'll take for a person who has AIDS to not have AIDS, taking these herbs, about 3 months. So about 3 months. About 3 months.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Because we all know how that disease is devastating.
Exactly.
And people can walk around with that disease for years, taking medicines
Right.
and whatnot that's destroying all of their body systems. And by taking this tea, you can eradicate it in 3 months.
True indeed.
That's
Shorter time than that. That's just the knowledge of how the blood cycle flows in the body. It's a 3 month. It's a 3 month period that the blood purifies itself. So you could cut that time in half depending on the intake of herbs you take.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what is it specifically about this particular concoction of herbs that you put together that makes it so potent?
The herbs themselves. It's the herbs that's in the tea that makes it potent. Because like I said before, they native, they natural plants. So they have a value of alkalinity to it, you know. And big up to Dr. Sebi, because that's why I studied the craft on it. Just watching him on YouTube, taking notes, and applying the technique. And I got the same results. So it's just dealing with knowing what plants to choose. A lot of people that get sick and choose aloe vera, comfrey, and peppermint. And these are artificial herbs. But they'll make these concoctions thinking it's going to heal you when it don't.
Okay, got you. So, well, as far as the artificial herbs, what does the artificial herbs do to the body?
They don't do
What's
nothing
the
to the
difference?
body. It's acid.
Okay.
It's only 2 effects the body has, acid and alkaline. So it's either going to be one or the other. If it's not acid, it's going to be alkaline. If it's not alkaline, it's going to be acid. So being that these plants are artificial, God didn't create, the Creator didn't create them. Man created them in a laboratory. With that being done, it created a starch base. Starch base is not carbon based. Carbon determines alkalinity, and it determines it being natural.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So now these herbs that you have in this particular healing tea that you have is some of the highest alkalinity levels, right? That's some of the
Yeah,
highest
they're known to
alkalinity.
have medicinal usages.
Gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
they have medicinal usages. They found in nature in abundance. Dandelion is found in nature in abundance. Yellow dot grows wild out here. These are natural plants. But you can't find aloe vera growing wild in nature. That's not a natural plant.
Interesting. All right, great. My next question is, are there any side effects associated with this tea?
There's no side effects at all. The only side effects is going to be that you won't have energy. And that's what you want. Because see, this herbs is iron based, and your body flows off of iron. That's what gives you energy. You know what I'm saying? Sexual arousement stems off of blood. It's the blood flow. So this is an aphrodisiac as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you're impotent, this will help with your impotency. I have people who have testified to that.
Fellas will love that.
Exactly. So there's no side effects. It's gonna clear your skin. Your skin is going to become clear. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have more energy. You're gonna have more bowel movements. You're gonna urinate more, and these are the signs that your body's healing itself.
Eliminating toxins.
Eliminating toxins, exactly.
Okay, great. My next question is, what is the most important ingredient in this tea?
Well, there's not no important ingredient to say because all the herbs have their specific use, you know. But the main mineral in a lot of the herbs is iron. Because iron is the only mineral that is magnetic. It attracts other minerals to it. So if you have an iron-based or a mineral that has a lot of iron content, you will find other traces of minerals in that herb based off the magnetism of the iron in nature.
Okay. So if there was one herb that you could pick, like if say for instance somebody
Blue vervain.
Okay.
Blue vervain would be a good herb. Because I have people documented that they have let out worms in their stool. A lady let out 5 worms, a guy let out 2. I know about 3 or 4 people who let out worms in their stool on the strength of the blue vervain. So I would recommend a person to take blue vervain if they're a heavy meat eater. If they eat a lot of pork, you would want the blue vervain.
Okay.
If you're low on energy, you would want the yellow dot.
Okay. So those are probably some of the very most important herbs would be blue vervain and the yellow dot. Even though all of the herbs in this concoction are important. But as you heard, those right there can eliminate worms from your body and things like that, which is very important. Okay, as far as like you having low energy and things like that, because a lot of times when you have those worms and different parasites, they're robbing your body of different minerals and different things that keeps your body from functioning at its highest level. Okay, so and even with the parasites, just to add on to that, the parasites can also control your thinking too. You know, because these worms and what, they have a mind of their own. So you may have a craving for sugar, you may have a craving for a certain food or mineral that's not, or something that's not good for you, and it's because of these worms. They're the ones that's craving these things. So we have to get rid of all of these parasites and worms in our body so that we can get back to a high vibration, so that we can become more aware and more conscious, you know, in our thinking, more clear in our thinking.
True indeed.
Hallelujah. Now, I've tasted the tea before. I've had it before, and the tea is very bitter. So it's not.
Yes, it's nothing that's gonna, you know, it's a bitter tea. It ain't nothing. This is for grown folks. This ain't no play thing. You know what I mean? I address hardcore diseases. I don't address little plague diseases. I address people with AIDS, cancer, diabetes, hepatitis, you name it. Them hardcore diseases is what I address. So the herbs is bitter, and it's the bitter herb that's gonna heal your body. You know what I'm saying? Some people ask me, can I put honey in it sweet? Nah, drink it bitter. If you can't drink it bitter, you have no choice. You gotta drink it bitter. There's no other option outside of that. But if you decided you did want to sneak in and put something sweet, you would want to put maple syrup. Maple syrup comes from the maple tree. It's natural, and it won't interfere with the chemical compound that's already in the herbs. But if you put sugar, honey, you're gonna mess up the process. You're gonna stagnate your own process. So you're gonna have to take it bitter. That's the best way you could take it.
It's the best way to do it.
Unless you're dealing with the sea moss, because the sea moss tastes like a milkshake, and we could touch on that if you want, whenever you want to bring that up.
Okay, sure. All right. Next question. How did you become interested in healing?
Good question. There was really no interest, to be honest. I was just watching YouTube, and I seen Dr. Sebi break down some the biochemistry of the body, and that caught my interest. And from there, I just took the initiative to learn it. Okay. It wasn't nothing premeditated like coming up. You know, and then we live in a culture that a lot of black people sick because of the diet we eat. You know what I'm saying? We're not accustomed to eating the foods we're supposed to eat. Natural alkaline foods. When we was taken from Africa, that's what we was eating, alkaline foods. Because Africa produced nothing but alkalinity. So you take people from their natural environment and bring them to a foreign environment, you're going to get disease because you're not accustomed over here. You don't know what to eat over here. Unless we was told by the native Indians, which some of us probably got some of that knowledge from them, but for the most part, we were asked out when we came over here. We was eating ham hocks, the leftover of master's food, and that's how all these diseases came upon us.
Absolutely. I mean, I've even heard where, you know, by living in certain regions, how it kind of affects the minerals in your body. You know, specific regions, people that are from climates that are hot, there's certain vegetables, certain fruits and whatnot, right, that correspond to their body based off of that region. And
right.
So being that, you know, our ancestors come from these tropical areas and whatnot,
right,
there's a lot of herbs and stuff that are there that aren't here, that our body is very essential to our body functioning at its optimum level.
Exactly. True indeed. True indeed.
So let me see. My next question would be, what is your mission with this tea, and as far as healing is concerned, what is your mission for, you know, for your people? What is your personal mission?
Yeah, like I said, the mission is in service to others. That's what every human being on the planet is here to do, is serve their fellow bedroom, their fellow brother or sister, regardless of race, creed, or color. That's the order. So through the herbs, I'm going to use that to help those who are sick and cannot afford the doctor, who can't afford even Dr. Sebi. You know what I'm saying? I don't sell my product expensive at all. And depending on some of the situations and conditions, I give it to you for free. Because there's some brothers out here who ain't got no money, and they sick, and they need help. And I'm going to render my service to them for free. But if you're financially stable and you got money, then I'm going to charge you. That's only business. Because I got to recruit what I'm doing in order to serve my people. So each one teach one, each one share. And that's how we got to build this empire. You know? So I can only do what's in my reach.
Good. Okay. Cool. Cool. I like that. I like that. We definitely gotta help each other, gotta heal each other. That's part of our mission, you know.
Right.
As spiritual people, that's a part of our mission to be healers, you know, to share our light, to share our knowledge, our wisdom, you know, to lift other people up, you know, because at the end of the day, we are sick people. We are some of the sickest people on the planet. We number 1 on the top 10 killer list. That's what I've heard, and I believe that to be true. So, you know, with the change of our diet, the change of our thinking, the change of our speaking, you know, we can revert back to becoming gods again, to becoming kings again, you know. So my next question will be, how do you think this ties into our spirituality? How does it tie into your spirituality?
Yeah, that's a good question. How does this herbs and this healing tie into spirituality? Well, the body is the temple for the spirit. So if the body's impure, likewise would be the spirit. And how can the body be impure? Based off what you put into your body. Now you have people in the scriptures that say, oh, it's not what you put in, it's not what goes into your mouth, but what comes out of it. And that scripture led you all to have diabetes, gout, breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, because you feel that it's okay to eat whatever you want and defile your temple. And now you suffer from these diseases. See, the truth of the matter is that the body is alkaline. So all foods and liquids entering the body must maintain an alkalinity above 7 on the pH scale. See that? So the Creator already designed you, scientifically designed for you to maintain the pH above 7 on the alkaline chart. If you eat anything below 7, your body will start to create erosion, cell erosion. It'll start to deprive itself from oxygen because of the acid that you're taking in and the mucus that'll build up based off the foods and drinks. So the number 1 law in creation is to know thyself. And to know thyself is to know one's own body. And everybody share the same body parts. We all share the same liver or organ. That's why when I heal people, it don't matter what race you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't help heal white people. Because if their blood is compromised, it don't matter what race you are. You got to follow the same instructions because the Creator laid one order. And that order is alkalinity.
Absolutely.
So spirituality, to understand the essence of it is to understand alkalinity, because that's the driving vehicle and driving force while you're alive. That electrical spark. And that's alkaline.
Praise the Creator, no doubt. Okay? I've heard you tell stories about people that, you know, that take your tea and you've healed them, and then they might backslide, and then they, you know, come to you and you know, they ask you why did this happen or whatever. Right. So if you could just explain to the people how important it is to maintain a discipline, psychological discipline, just, you know, getting in a routine in order for them to be successful and to continue to be healed.
Yeah, the number 1 problem that I have with people is psychological. Because they got to psychologically wrap their mind around not eating food that they've been accustomed eating all their lives. And that could be a challenge for any one of us. So with that being said, a lot of people start off taking the herbs and they'll start seeing improvement even on the diagnostic sheets that they bring me. And then for some reason within themselves, they may backtrack, they may backslide like the brother said, they may fall off and go back eating the acidic foods, the mucus building foods and drinks. And then they may call me saying, yeah, I fell off, I got to get back on it and blah, blah, blah. And I tell them I understand that, because ain't nobody perfect. We could all fall and backslide. But when you're dealing with hardcore diseases such as AIDS, such as breast cancer, prostate cancer, diabetes, you can't play around with these things because you're already on a thin line. You know what I'm saying? These are diseases where one day you're feeling good and the next day you're in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to buckle down and be disciplined when you're addressing yourself. Because you got to save your own ass. I can only provide the knowledge and the requirements for you to get healed. It's up to you to take it and follow the instructions. That's it. Just like the laws of God. He laid the laws out, now it's up to you to follow it. And he gave you 2 roads to follow. If you follow the righteous road, it'll lead you this way. If you don't follow it, it'll lead you this way. So at the end of the day, you can't blame nobody but yourself.
Okay, so can you go into specifically what type of discipline is required. What do you need to do alongside with just drinking the tea in order to have a successful healing, a successful recovery from
Now,
whatever
true
ailment you're
indeed.
dealing
Good question. Now, depending on the nature of the disease, will determine the strictness of the diet. Now, if you're dealing with AIDS, I'm gonna tell you can't eat no acidic foods and no acidic drinks. You basically got to go on a vegetarian diet. A liquid fruit and vegetable diet is what you're gonna have to go on. Those are people who suffer with hardcore diseases, such as the AIDS, the breast cancer, the prostate cancer, the colon cancer, cancer period. You would have to go on those strict alkaline fruit and vegetable diets in order to get your body back where it needs to. Because those alkalinities is going to be fighting and neutralizing all the acid in your body. So you need as much of it as possible on top of taking the herbs. So when you have the herbs and the alkaline diet with fruits and vegetables, I can guarantee you within 2 weeks, your diabetes will be gone, your breast cancer will reduce, you know, your viral count on your AIDS will reduce, drastically reduce, I mean, telling you.
We're going to actually show you documents
sheets
of people whose cell count has went down significantly based off of these different herbs that the
that's
brother
coming
has,
to you
has
soon.
put together.
The witnesses who's taking this, so we working on that now. So just give us a couple months, we're gonna get that together.
The law and the testimony.
Exactly.
Try to do it in a couple weeks. We're gonna try to do it in a couple weeks. You know.
Yeah.
Brothers do it a different time, but we're gonna try to take care of it as soon as possible.
Word.
So okay, as far as the discipline goes, so once they get on this diet while they're taking the tea and the herbs and whatnot, are they gonna have to continue this diet once it's eradicated, or can they just take it while they're on
That's
the tea?
on them. That's based off the individual. Now if you taking a diet and it's noticing that you're getting better and you're getting healed, and this is bringing you out of condition that from what you ate put you in this condition in the first place, it would be best for you to stick with that diet, you know. And if you do decide to revert back, just don't be as harmful to your body as you was before to put you in that condition. So if you was a heavy meat eater, cut back on some of the meat. Don't eat it as much as you did when you were eating meat. If you gotta have meat, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you got to decide to me. You got to be your own God and your own king of your own temple. You know what I mean? The Creator gave you your body for you to govern. You know what I'm saying? You can't have another person tell you how your body runs. You got to know your body. And sometimes when we don't know how our body runs, it takes somebody else to tell us how our body runs. Because we all share the same body.
True. Okay. So once again, could you please go over the different ailments, the different diseases that you have actually healed?
Yeah. Okay, we can start off with the common cold. We can say tonsillitis, hepatitis, breast cancer, arthritis, AIDS, the expelling of parasites, worms in one's body, stopping hiccups. I had a police officer, he had a hiccup problem. He got some herbs and he said his hiccups went away in a week. See that? He's a cop. So I'm definitely not biased, racist when it comes to this. I'm doing the service of the Creator. I know my mission. But those, for the most part, that I can think of right now is the ones that I've seen people get results from. They've gotten better and even cured.
It's a great testimony. Great testimony, my brother.
No doubt.
Especially to not have a medical background, to
no
not
PhD, no nothing.
Right.
You're studying Dr. Sebi, took notes and applied the technique. Nothing more, no less.
Absolutely. And that just goes to show you that everything that we need in order to heal ourselves is right out here in nature. All we have to do is slow down. We have to observe how our body is reacting to certain foods and certain things, drinks and things of that nature, and to certain thoughts. So once we have to become more sensitive to our bodies and to our body's needs in order to give it the best care in order to sustain ourselves. So since we talk about these teas and the healing effects of it, let's talk about disease and how are diseases formed in the body.
Now, disease comes from what you drink and what you eat. Acidic drinks and acidic foods produces inflammation of the cells. And starches produce mucus in the body. You know what I'm saying? Consider mucus like gum. When you chew gum, you stick it to something that sticks on, it's hard to peel off if it's been there for a while. Consider the gum the mucus. So the mucus clamps on to the cell and starts depriving the cell of oxygen. And then the cell starts to inflate like a flat tire. Becomes a sickle cell. And then it further on becomes a dead cell. And if it's in the bloodstream, it'll create blood clotting. Blood clotting is when your blood cells is not getting enough, your red blood cells is not getting enough oxygen. But the whole function of a cell being deprived of oxygen works for all cellular structures in the body. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the disease is caused by what you eat and drink that is acidic and starch based.
Good, interesting.
Yeah.
So it all ties into acid and alkaline, and ties into what you're eating and trying to eat foods that don't have a lot of starch, that's creating mucus, which is robbing your cells of its oxygen.
Exactly.
True indeed. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Iron and oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, those are the main key players. Some of the main key players. The main key players of the body is iron, calcium, phosphorus, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Those are the main key players of the body right there. You know what I'm saying?
This is Yoad signing out. OAHSPE King. Shalom.
Shalom.
I appreciate your time, brother.
No doubt, King.
Selah.
Selah Shalom.
Selah
Shalom
Shalom.
Alaikum.
Shalom.
All right.
Peace.